The diameter of circle S is 30 meters. Diameter of circle R is 20 meters. DS is 9 meters. Find CD. What is this garbage? I have no idea. Just kidding, I do know this garbage. Let's take out the trash. Alrighty everybody, welcome back. Now before we get into this lesson, we have to do a quick review. There were three words that we went over, three different segments that were in circles that all had special names. The first one that we went over was a radius. A radius is a segment that goes from the center of the circle to the circle. Next one we talked about was a chord. A chord goes from the circle to the circle. And when we say chord, we mean a segment that goes from circle to the circle and does not pass through the center. If it passes through the center, this chord has a special name called the diameter. Now, besides the fact that this looks like a Pokeball, the other thing that you should notice is that the diameter is made up of two radii. You've got a radius from the center of the circle here, a radius from the center of the circle here. So because a diameter is made up of two radii, we have two equations that came out of this. The first is 2 radii equal a diameter. Here's a radius, put it together, you have a diameter. The opposite's also true. If you have a diameter and you divide it by 2, you get the radius. So in other words, if this diameter was 10 meters long, if we divided it by 2, that would make this radius 5 meters and this radius 5 meters. The next thing we're going to talk about are congruent circles. Remember, if you have a radius in a circle, any other radius you draw in that same circle is going to be congruent. And the reason why is because the circle itself is the set of all points that are equidistant from that center. So by definition, all radii have to be congruent. Well, if you have two circles and they have the same radii, so if this is 5 meters and this was 5 meters, we would say that these circles have to be the same size, or mathematically, geometrically, the way to say it is that they're congruent. So in other words, right here, if I know that AB is congruent to CD, those two radii are congruent, that means that the circles, circle A, congruent to circle C. Next thing we need to talk about, similar figures. Now remember, similar figures are figures that have the same shape with a different size. So if you had two squares, one was large, one was small, you would say they're similar. They're not identical because one's large and one's small, but they're similar. They're the same shape, just a different size. Well, all circles have the exact same shape. They're just different sizes. So all circles are therefore similar. So any two circles you have, you say they're similar. And in case you forgot, the symbol for similarity is this. It looks like a tilde, like a little wavy line. So you'd say circle X is similar to circle Y. The last thing we're going to talk about are concentric circles. Concentric circles, you have to have two things. They have to be coplanar, on the same plane, like on a flat sheet of paper, and they have to have the same center. If you have two circles that are coplanar and share the same center, just like this, we call them concentric circles. Now, in order to differentiate between the inner circle and the outer circle, we're going to use radii. So let me show you. Let's say that circle A, the smaller one, has a radii that goes from A to point B. So we call that circle circle A with radii AB. The other circle, let's draw a radius there to point C. I would call this circle A with radii AC. And that's how I differentiate between the two concentric circles. All right, so we got all our new vocabulary out of the way. Now we're back to the problem that we saw right at the intro to the video. You've got two circles here. They're overlapping. We're told the diameter of circle S is 30 meters. Diameter of circle R is 20 meters. DS is equal to 9 meters. And we're told to find CD. So I know this looks like a nasty problem. It's not that bad. So first thing we're going to do is see this right here, see the segment RS? We're going to draw that without the circles. So let's see. Draw a line on your paper here, or segment, pardon me. So it starts with R, that's the center of this circle. Then we come across point C, and then we have a point D, and we have S. And it doesn't matter if your picture doesn't really line up with this one, just get the letters in the right order, that's what's important. And now, fill in what they give you. So first thing is we're trying to find CD. So I want to find out what the length is that starts at C and goes to D. I want to find out that length. I'm going to call that X. And then I'm going to fill in information until I can solve for this. So here it says the diameter of circle S is 30 meters. So here's circle S. Well, the diameter, that means from this part of the circle to this part of the circle, straight through the center. This whole entire distance is 30 meters. Well, if diameter is 30 meters, what's radius? Let's take a look here. If the diameter of circle S equals 30, then the radius of circle S equals 15. Because remember, radius is half a diameter. Just take this divided by 2. Well, the radius of circle S, that's the segment that goes from S to C. So we would say 15 equals SC. So here's S, here's C. I know the distance from here to here is 15. Now, they told you that DS is equal to 9 meters. So from here to here, I know that's 9 meters. Well, even though I haven't filled in what RC is, do I even need it? If I cover this up, take a look at it. I know the whole entire segment's 15. I know the left part's X, the right part's 9. Remember that, that equation we worked on for a long time in the beginning of the year? The whole thing equals the left plus the right. The whole is equal to the sum of the parts. So if I know the whole thing's 15, I know the left is X, and I know the right is 9, I can solve that. Take away 9 from both sides. 15 minus 9 is 6. So 6 equals your X, which equals CD, what you were trying to find. And that's how you do that problem. Okay, let's take this a step further, because we never solved for RC. Let's figure out what RC is. If you want to try and do it on your own, pause the video, take a swing at it, and if not, you can just watch me do it for you. So again, we're going to do this in a similar fashion. We're going to write down this segment. I've got R, C, next letter is D, and last letter is S. So we want to know what RC is. So from here to here, this distance from R to C, I'm going to call that distance X. We just figured out that CD is equal to 6. So I know this distance from here to here is 6. So I know that's X, I know that's 6. If I know what RD is, I'm in business. Well, right here it says the diameter of circle R is 20 meters. So diameter is from circle to circle passing through the center. Well, if this diameter is 20 meters, what's the radius? Well, 20 divided by 2 is going to be 10. So let's write this up nice and neat. The diameter of circle R is equal to 20. So therefore, the radius of circle R is equal to 10. Just 20 divided by 2 is 10. That's it, done. And the radius is going to be RD, because remember, that's the outer edge of this circle right there. So that's it. That's everything I need. So again, the whole thing equals the left plus the right. So if the whole thing's 10, the left is X, the right is 6. Take away 6 on both sides. X equals 4, and that is RC, what we were solving for. So in the end, that problem is not that bad. I'm going to give you some practice on it. We will have a quiz. I'm still going to have radius and diameter and chord on it. You have to know those. So this quiz is going to include everything that we've gone over. past 2 weeks. All right, good luck. All right, everybody, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Even if you didn't like it, hit those buttons anyway. You might learn something. Later.